Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Afni Yaman. My regional number is A1M219102. This time, I'm going to explain the definition of subject-verb agreement. Subject-verb agreement. What's that? Subject and verb in English sentence must agree. They must match. We go to the beach on Saturdays. We is plural subject, so you need to use plural verb form as go. And he goes to the beach on Saturdays. He is singular subject, so you need to use goes as singular verb form. So, what is definition of subject-verb agreement? Subject and verb agreement is a match between subject and verb in terms or numbers, namely singular or plural. Subject can be noun, pronoun, or others contractions that act as a noun, such a gerund or infinitive. Basically, singular subject uses singular verb form and plural subject uses plural verb form. And for the example or the use of subject-verb agreement will be explaining by my other friends after me.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Novianti Adya Puteri. My student's number is A1M219100 and I'm from group 9. So I am here to give you some examples about the agreement between modified subject and verb. Subject and verb agreement is a rule which states that the number present in a noun must agree with the number shown in a conjugate form of the verb that is being used, and that the person of the noun must agree with the person of the conjugate form of the verb that you are using. So here we're going to use some proper subject and verb agreement. To be, as we know as I, am, you, we, they, are, and he, she, it, is. And to work, I, you, we, they, work, and he, she, it, works. Where the subject is a pronoun or complex or modified as a part of an adjectival phrase or modified by parenthetic expressions or clarified in a meaning by common knowledge or something that occurs later in a sentence, then subject-verb agreements can become a little complicated. Some grammar rules say that the complex part of the subject closest to verb in the sentence should determine the verbal agreement. However, many examples can be found that make this sound funny. A better rule is to consider the entire complex subject phrase as one subject and then think about what kind of thing it represents. The basic idea in idiomatic English is to make the verb agree with the idea that the subject represents, which could have different plurality than the actual subject as a word. This is actually helpful in understanding meaning since it gives subject-verb agreement a role that is not simply redundant in echoing the plurality of the subject. Whatever the subject represents can be considered singular or plural, and that is what the verb should agree with. Here are some examples. Somebody is at the party. Here somebody is singular modified subject, and followed by is, which is singular verb. So somebody is a singular subject and is a singular verb. They should agree with each other. And we have the second example. We are at the party. As we know, we is plural first person and followed by are, which is plural subject. I'm sure we all know that because this is a basic knowledge. And these are some more examples. The Three Musketeers is a good book. The Three Musketeers in here is a singular book and followed by is. Is a singular verb. Because the Three Musketeers is a singular book, it has to be followed by a singular verb. So here we use is. Next example. Literature is an interesting subject. Here, literature is singular subject of study, so it followed by is. $10 are in my pocket. As we know, in here, $10 stand as a plural noun, so every plural noun has to be followed with are. Here I have some more example to give. The president and the children are at the party. When we use and, there's two subject is the same as we use they. So subject and subject become plural subject and always followed by plural verb. In here we have the president and the children become plural, and we use the verb are to agree with the subject. Second, neither the children nor the president is at the party. This example, the two singular subjects are treated as singular subject because or nor give us an option. We are not saying both is one singular noun or the other, not both of them together. In many cases, the author decided whether the subject represents something singular or plural, depending upon which idea is desired to be expressed. For example, a group can act as a whole singular or as a group of individuals or plural, and despite many attempts at making rule for this, there is no simple rule that covers all cases. These are the examples. The team is organizing the event. This example reveals just a singular unit. It's a singular noun, so we need to use a singular verb. The team are meeting today. So the members of the club are meeting together using the plural form of the verb. The teams are meeting today. So when you use plurally, it means that there are many of the individual group nouns. There are more than one team or family or club. Okay, that's all from me about modified subject and verb agreement. Thank you so much for paying attention, and some more material like this about subject and verb agreement will be presented by my friend.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Auradi Bultom Aka. My student registration number A1N219104. In this video, I'm going to explain my material about the agreement with subject, accompaniment, and verb. I will divide this video into three parts. First is definition, second is example, And the last is exercise. Before I explain the definition of the agreement with subject accompaniment and verb, I want us to remember again what is the subject-verb agreement. So there are 3 rules of subject-verb agreement. First is the verb should agree with the subject. Second is if the subject is singular, the verb is also singular. If the subject is plural, the verb is also plural. Verb with S is singular and verb without S is plural. For example, singular and plural. Talk and talks. Write and writes. Paint and paints. Pray and prays. Learn and learns. The example of the sentences is: first, the dentist inspects my teeth for cavities. The dentist is the subject. The dentist is a singular subject, so the verb is also singular. The verb in the sentence is inspects. Notice that there is suffix s in the verb inspect. It means singular. She is a good teacher at her school. She is singular subject. Is also singular verb. Third, children need to stop eating too much candy. Children is plural. And of course, the verb is also plural. The verb here is need. My brother and sister exercise regularly. My brother and sister here is plural. So the verb is also plural. The verb is exercise. Let's move to the definition of the agreement with subject accompaniment and verb. The concept of the agreement with subject accompaniment and verb is a word or phrase between the subject does not against the verb agreement. The accompaniment word function is only to modify the real subject. The accompaniment word is as a modifier of the real subject. We can also say that accompaniment word is the intervening word or phrase. Examples of intervening word is including, like, plus, with, accompanied by, along with, as well as, in addition, one of, and together with. The intervening word or phrase is different from the meaning of and because the intervening word does not compound the subject, make it plural. The subject still determines whether the verb is singular or plural. In order to adhere the subject-verb agreement, let's move to the example of the agreement with subject accompaniment and verb. First is the actress, accompanied by friends and fans, is traveling in Europe now. If you take a look together, sentence by friend and fans seem like plural, right? But I want to tell you that we only have to focus on the real subject. The real subject in the sentence is the actress. Accompanied by friends and fans is not the subject, but is the intervening word. The actress as the real subject is singular subject. Of course, the verb is also singular. The singular verb in the sentence is verb is. Second, the farmhouse, including the tractor and the pickup, was damaged by the storm. So again, don't be confused by the intervening phrase. The intervening phrase on the sentence is including the tractor and the pickup, while the real subject is, of course, the farmhouse. The farmhouse is the real subject, which is singular. Of course, because it's singular, the verb is also singular. The singular verb in the sentence is was. Third is John, along with his cousins, often sells pizza. John, along with his cousins. Once again, it's look like a plural subject, right? But it doesn't, because the real subject in this sentence is only John. Along with his cousin is the intervening phrase. John as the singular subject has the singular verb. The singular verb in the sentence is sells. 4. The speaker, in addition to the guest, has arrived. Okay, don't mind the intervening phrase. Only focus on the real subject. The real subject here is the speaker as singular subject, and the singular verb in the sentence is has arrived. 6. Her cell phone plus her wallet was stolen from her car. Her cell phone plus her wallet. Okay, two objects, right? But they are not compound subject because in the rule, word plus is intervening phrase. So the only subject or the real subject here is her cell phone, and that is a singular subject. And singular verb for her cell phone is was stolen. His father, as well as his uncle, is retiring next month. Don't focus with the intervening phrase. Focus on the real subject. The real subject in this sentence is his father. His father is, of course, singular. The verb is also singular, and the singular verb in the sentence is retiring. Let's move to the last part, which is exercise. It could be pretty easy to answer this question if we already know the rule of the agreement with subject, accompaniment, and verb. So every sentence here takes singular verb. Like I said before, that if the subject is singular, of course the verb is singular. And the agreement with subject accompaniment, we only focus to the real subject, not to the intervening phrase. So let's see. First, the coach, as well as the fans, was or were disappointed by the team's performance. The real subject here is the coach, of course, because we already know the concept is don't mind or don't focus on the intervening phrase. Because the coach is singular subject, the verb is also singular. The singular subject is was, because where is for plural and was is singular, so the answer is was. Second, the artwork, in addition to the jewelry, is or are to be auctioned off in May. The real subject is the artwork. Don't mind in addition to the jewelry because it's intervening phrase. Because the artwork is singular, of course the verb is also singular. The answer is verb is to be auctioned off in May. Linda, one of my good friends, visit England every year. Linda, the singular subject. Don't mind one of my good friends because it only intervening phrase. The answer is visits. Visits is singular verb. Notice that there is suffix s in the end of word visit. Linda, one of my good friends, visits England every year. That's the right answer. The last is the doctor, together with his nurse, are or is attending a conference. We already know that the real subject is the doctor. Together with his nurse is only intervening phrase. The doctor as the singular subject has the singular verb. And the singular is, or the answer is, verb is, because it's used for singular subject. Okay, that's all I can explain about the agreement with subject, accompaniment, and verb. Thanks. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello, I'm Puteri Januarti from Group 9, and my student registration number is A1, M2, 1M1, 06. In this video, I want to explaining about topic of grammar, namely the agreement between subject with accompaniment and verb. Okay, in this material, subject must be in accordance with the verb, yang artinya subjeknya lah yang menentukan apa verbnya, subject realnya. If the subject is singular subject, maka verbnya pun singular juga. Kalau misalkan if the subject is plural, maka verbnya pun plural juga. Okay, for example, Tia plays with the piano. Tia and Ria play with piano. So, what is the subject? Yes, Tia. Tia is singular subject. So, we can put S after the verb because Tia is singular subject. So, what about the plural subject? Tia and Ria is a plural subject, so we cannot put the S after the verb. So in all the sentences, subject must agree with the verb or verb must agree with the subject. That's what must be remembered. In the agreement between a subject with accompaniment and verb, ada yang dinamakan interrupting phrase. What was that? Interrupting phrase is a group of words that comes between a simple subject or a simple subject and verb, usually giving some description. And the function is just accompany the subject. So, which includes interrupting phrase, there is with, accompanied by, along with, together with, including, and as well as. Okay, let's see some example. The foxes as well as the dog are mammals. So, where is the subject in the sentence? The subject in the sentence is the foxes. The foxes is plural subject. So automatically we know the verb is plural too. So how about as well as the dog? As well as the dog is an interrupting phrase. He just accompany the subject. Okay, let's take one more example. Blah 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 accompanied by her friends is going to the market. So what is the correct answer? Okay, because there is only a verb that appear, namely is, automatically woman is wrong because it is a plural subject. So how about it? It is incorrect because there is at her, which means that female marker is not an object. Her incorrect because that's what the subject need, not the object. So the incorrect is she because she according with a verb. Okay, for the simple, you just see what the subject is to determine the verb, and the interrupting phrase just to accompany the subject. Okay, that's all my explanation about the agreement between subject with accompaniment and verb. I hope can increase your knowledge and enjoy watching it. So that's all. I'm Putu Ardyantika. Thanks for watching.
Okay, I will explain about the agreement between subject with appositive and verbs. A. Appositive. Appositive is noun. Noun phrase or clause that is after or before other nouns. The purpose of the appositive is usually limited by comes, princes, or heavens. The subject must match the verb. A positive noun must also be appropriate for the subject if the subject is singular and if the subject is plural. The appositive noun and verb must also be plural. For example, number 1, Andika, my good friend, is police officer. Number 2, the best-selling tourist spot in Lampung Tanjung Setia Beach is very suitable for surfing. Not the bold press above. That is what is interpreted as a positive. Its function is to describe or explain. The phrase "my good friend" in the first sentence explain who Andika is, while the phrase best-selling spot in Lampung in the second in the second sentence explains what Tanjung Setia Beach is.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Introduce myself. My name is Rizky Amalia. My number stambook A1M219110. Here I will explain grammar material about the agreement between subject with appositive and verb. Appositive is noun phrase or noun clause. That is, after or before other nouns. The purpose of the appositive is to describe or explain. Appositive is usually limited by commas, parentheses, or hyphens. The subject must match the verb. Appositive noun must also be appropriate for the subject. If the subject is singular, the noun appositive and verb must also be singular, and if the subject is plural, the appositive and noun verb must also be plural. For example, the people in their class, mostly international students, are very friendly. To the final exams, essay text will be given during in the last week of. Okay, that's the result of my presentation. That is all, and thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Iska Saputri. I'm going to describe about the agreement between there, here, and verb. There and here are used in the position of the sentence. The real subject followed later. If the subject that follows is singular, we use the singular verb. And if the subject that follows is plural, we use the plural verb. In most English sentences, the subject comes before the verb. But sentences beginning with the there is or there are follow a different order, the subject comes after the verb. Okay, for example, first, there are 3 assignments left to do. Assignments is the subject of this sentence and it is plural, so we have to use plural verb. Second, there is a man standing in front of the door. As you can see, the subject is a man, so we have to use is. Third, here are some questions that have to be answered. Some questions here are apparently plural, so we have to use are. Fourth, here is your book. Sorry for giving back you late. Here we look for the subject. Book is singular, so we have to use is. I think that's all for me.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Intan Komala Sari. My rank number is A1, M2, 17 and 78. Well, I will continue an explanation from my friends. Where our material is the agreement between there, here, and verb. Seperti yang telah dijelaskan oleh teman saya, yaitu there and here are used the subject possession of the sentence, the real subject follow later. Yang dimana the verbs here and here will never be the subject in any clause. Nah, tetapi ketika kalimat dimulai dengan kata benda, dengan kata-kata itu sering kali penulis secara otomatis menggunakan kata kerja tunggal tanpa melihat ke depannya. Apakah itu subjek yang muncul setelah kata kerja atau kata kerja adalah kata tunggal atau jamak. Kemudian ada beberapa contoh kalimat. Yang pertama, there are many classes of school fluency. Yang kedua, here are the sales report, the market analysis, and the strategies. Yang ketiga, here are the good reasons to buy your office supplies from us. Yang keempat, there are Harry, Yus, and Michael. Kalimat kedua dan keempat sangat menantang karena dalam setiap kasus kata benda tunggal laporan penjualan dan Harry segera mengikuti laporan penjualan dan Harry segera mengikuti kata kerja jamak, sehingga kata begitu sering mengganggu pendengaran pada telinga kita. Tetapi kata benda tunggal itu hanya bagian dari subjek jamak dalam kalimat tersebut dalam kalimat tersebut. Dalam kalimat dua, yaitu here are the sales report, the market analysis, and the strategies. Subjek lengkapnya adalah laporan penjualan, analisis pasar, dan rencana strategis. Dalam kalimat keempat, itu there are Harry, Sus, dan Michael. Adalah Harry, Sus, and Michael. Kemudian ada dua contoh kalimat. Yang pertama, she breaks the windows intentionally, and they are just acting to ignore they wants to cry. Pada contoh dua kalimat tersebut, singular subject harus diiringi oleh singular verb. Plural subject harus diiringi oleh plural verb. Oke, sekian penjelasan dari saya. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I will continue the material unit 15 about the agreement between indefinite subject, adjective, and verb. Indefinite adjective give non-specific information about a noun. For example, the indefinite article few indicates some but not an exact amount. Indefinite adjectives are usually confused with indefinite pronouns, since they are the same words used different. An indefinite pronoun replaces a noun. An indefinite adjective precedes a noun or pronoun and modifies it. It is important for you to understand the difference between indefinite adjective and indefinite pronoun to assure you are saying what you mean. Some common indefinite adjectives include all, any, anything, each, every, few, many, one, several, some, somebody, and someone. For example, indefinite adjective and indefinite pronoun. Indefinite adjective, we are having some cake for dessert. We are having some cake for dessert. Some, it is indefinite adjective. Two indefinite pronoun. I like cake, I'll have some, please, indefinite pronoun. I like cake, I'll have some, please. Some, it is indefinite pronoun. Some typical indefinite pronouns are all, another, any, anybody, anyone,
anything, each, everybody or everyone, everything, few, money, nobody, none, one, several, some, somebody, or someone. Note that many indefinite pronouns also function as other parts of speech. Look at another in the following sentence. For example, another. For another, that ice cream was good. Can I have another? That ice cream was good. Can I have another? Example, anybody or anyone. Can anyone answer the question? Can anyone answer this question? The last is indefinite verb. Notice that a singular pronoun takes a singular verb, that any personal pronoun should also agree in number or gender. Look at this example. First, each of the player has a doctor. Each of the player has a doctor. This is indefinite verb. Two, much has happened since we meet. Much has happened since we meet. I think that's enough for explanation. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.